Well, hi everyone. Each week we're looking at a passage from the Old Testament that points us to Jesus. And this week's devotional looks at Genesis chapter 50. And I'm going to read for you verses 15 to 21. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "What if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrong we did to him?" So they sent word to Joseph saying, "Your father left these instructions before he died. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they have committed in treating you so badly. So please forgive the sins of the servants of the God of your father." When their message came to him, Joseph wept. His brothers then came and threw themselves down before him. "We are your slaves," they said. But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children." And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. You know, the story of Joseph tells us something very simple yet profound. It gives us perspective on our problems. What does God want for us? To forgive others as God has forgiven us. So why did Joseph weep? The message his brothers sent to Joseph was a lie. His brothers were scared of what Joseph would do to them because of all the evil they did towards Joseph. The brothers slipped back into fear after their father dies. But Joseph had an insight the rest of his brothers didn't have. The story goes back to Genesis chapter 37. Jacob favored Joseph over all the other brothers. And so the brothers hated Joseph. And then Joseph had these dreams that he would rule over his brothers. You can imagine that didn't go over well. So one day, Jacob sent Joseph to go check on his brothers who were tending their flocks. And the brothers had murderous feelings in their hearts. And they threw Joseph into an empty cistern. Along came traveling merchants, and one brother said, "Why kill him and get nothing?" Instead, they sold Joseph for 20 shekels of silver. So Joseph is sold as a slave in Egypt. But overcoming many obstacles, he rises up the ranks and becomes the most powerful man in Egypt under Pharaoh. And Joseph saved Egypt and many surrounding nations from a great famine by having Egypt prepared. During the famine, his brothers and father in Canaan were starving, so the older brothers are sent to Egypt to get food. Joseph gives them food and lets them return to their land, but told them they must come back with their youngest brother to prove they were not spies. They return with the youngest, and Joseph again gives them food to return home, but then a messenger comes accusing them of stealing a silver cup, which was planted and found in the youngest brother's sack. All the conditions are right for another betrayal. But this time, one of the brothers steps forward and says to take him instead. "My life so the youngest can go free." They know their father would be heartbroken. So instead of betrayal this time, we see self-sacrifice. And Joseph weeps. Joseph reveals his true identity as their brother. Instead of a vindictive Joseph, we see grace and forgiveness. So what do we learn? The way Joseph treats his brothers is how God treats us. Joseph forgives his brothers to redeem them. And this points us to Christ. Do you know Joseph was betrayed for a bag of silver? Did you know that Jesus was also betrayed for a bag of silver? Just as Joseph delivers those who rejected him, so Jesus delivers us. Just as Joseph forgave those who betrayed him, Jesus forgives us. Just like one brother offered himself in the place of another, so Jesus offered himself in our place on the cross. Christ assures us our undeserved forgiveness so that we would forgive others. They intended to harm Joseph, but God intended it for good. Bad things happen to us, but God intends it all for our good. Joseph reassures them in the end so they can live with him in his kingdom. And Christ reassures us so that we can live with God in his kingdom.